And a bombshell ruling in Georgia's election interference case. Is it the end of the road for this case now? We start with that major decision. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cheryl Preheim.
And I'm Faith Jesse. Some very big news. And today, the Georgia Supreme Court allowed Fulton District Attorney Fani Willis's disqualification from the 2020 election interference case to stand. Now, that case, it accused President Donald Trump and 18 others of illegally trying to overturn Trump's narrow loss to President Joe Biden in Georgia back in 2020.
We have team coverage for you this afternoon. We begin with Zach Merchant outside of the state Supreme Court now with the latest on this ruling. And Zach, what could come next in the case?
Well, Cheryl, that is the big question, but it's worth taking a moment to pause to just think how we got here, because it has been a more than 2-year saga for Fulton County DA Fani Willis leading this case. Today's ruling means that time is over. She is no longer involved in the case, but the case itself may still have a future.
This is the biggest case in the history of American jurisprudence.
Former DeKalb County District Attorney Robert James says the Fulton County prosecution of President Donald Trump and more than a dozen co-defendants has no comparison.
There is no prosecutor that has ever lived that's brought a bigger, more important case.
But now Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, the prosecutor who brought the charges, is off the case. Following the Georgia Supreme Court's ruling allowing her disqualification to stand, she said she'll now prepare to transfer jurisdiction to the Prosecuting Attorney's Council of Georgia, an independent third party tasked with finding a new prosecutor to lead the case. In a written statement, she said in part, quote, "I hope that whoever is assigned to handle the case will have the courage to do what the evidence and the law demand." Prosecuting Attorney's Council Executive Director Pete Scandalakis says he'll look for another DA's office or qualified attorney to take it on, but admits it may be difficult. James said any new prosecutor would have to answer big questions before agreeing.
Do we have the bandwidth for it, the emotional and psychological bandwidth for it? Or is it something that we just rather not be involved with? The second thing is, do we have the resources?
But that does not mean the case is dead. Scandalakis said if he can't find an outside prosecutor to take it on, the Prosecuting Attorney's Council might take the case itself. In a phone interview, he said, quote, "I think it's important that a conflict prosecutor, a neutral person, takes this case and makes a decision." So the big question, of course, is timing. How long is all of this going to take? Pete Scandalakis, when we talked to him today, he said he hopes to have a new prosecutor lined up to take over this case when jurisdiction transfers into the authority of the Prosecuting Attorney's Council. So, of course, the next question is, well, when will that happen? Scandalakis today said he expects it to happen within about 30 days. So at least this component of the case seems likely to be moving fairly quickly, but it has been a long road to get here.